Hello and welcome, Art of Sacred Embodiment. And thanks for being here. Happy to be sharing today. We are just a week away from Summer Solstice, and we're going to talk a little bit about that we're already in the Summer Solstice energies and what does this mean exactly. So we're going to touch on just a couple of the basics, and then the details are going to be much more elaborated in the class that's going to be next Saturday. No, next Wednesday for Saturday. So the summer solstice energies, it's a portal, right? So any of the climaxes of our celestial, planetary transitions in the seasons and cycles, when we come into eclipses, equinoxes, solstices, even the moon phases, they're portals. So they're portals where we could say the veil thins, everything opens up, and we become more sensitized. And this is going to be key. Where and how do we become more sensitized? Through the sacred technology that is our body and our energy field. All of the planets, all of the stars, the moon, including the earth, including the sun, they are always giving us information. They are always giving us blessings, right? They are always supporting us in our evolution through love, right? They are emitting love. As the frequency continues to raise and expand and get stronger through all of these vehicles, right? These are vehicles and vessels, right? The planets, the stars, us, that contain information, contain coding, contain exactly what we need in order for our evolution. But we have to be open to receive them. I say this over and over again. The sun is giving off stronger and stronger light onto the planet. We'll just say the veil, the shield that used to be around our planet, that used to sort of be a buffer, over the last couple years has been decreasing, right? It's getting less and less and less. That means that the buffer is not filtering out not only as much of the light, but the light carries downloads. The light carries divine information for our evolution, for all species on this planet, and for the earth. And the earth herself is giving the same, her own, I wouldn't say the same, but her own codes to support us. Solstice is this really potent window, the summer solstice of light. And we could say, right, that the solar energies are more of an activating energy in the polarity of fire, which is like a masculine energy, down into the earth to receive, which is a feminine energy. We are a vessel and vehicle and a container that can bridge the light that enters down onto this planet, anchoring through us, anchoring more light onto the planet. Solstice is monumental for this. Summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. Winter solstice has its own kind of activation that takes place. So as we're in the summer solstice right now, the sun is building, right? The codes are building. The energy is building up to that longest day of the year. And I'll tell you, in the Midwest where I'm at right now, you wouldn't know that the sun is out there very much because we have been in the thick of a very active spring. Thunderstorms, torrential downpours, flooding with little breaks here and there. Everything is green and flourishing in, the love expression of life through the planet. But yet we cannot mistake that we aren't actually receiving these rays. We want to be open to receive these rays as we are moving forward. All right, so we're only a week away. We've been receiving them, but it's building. So the invitation is to get outside as much as possible. Get your bare feet on the earth and be in the daylight, because that daylight is going to hold the sunshine through the clouds. And if you're in a part of the country where you got lots of good sun coming, then you want to be absorbing it. So one of more of the scientific facts is that the light that we take into our body and into our cells right now, it supports us all the way through the winter, right? So it's almost like we absorb so much that, all of that vitamin D, all of the light in our cells, that vitality in our cells really helps to maintain our vitality when we come into the dark time of the year. So during the class for the summer solstice, that is going to be on Wednesday, in preparation for next Saturday, we're going to talk a little bit more about how does the sun support our physical body, our cells, right, our tissues, our brain, and what does this mean to have a sacred technology as the body? What does it mean for us, not just for solstice, but in general, to really start anchoring in that somatic experience that we are a vehicle and vessel of the divine, and that the sun actually is supporting us in remembering our divinity. So I'm bringing this up a little bit more often lately. What does it mean to recognize and to think of ourselves as divine, right? What does that mean? What are the qualities? What are the attributes? What is the becoming of us as we come into divine humanness? And how do we surrender to our divinity? The second half of 2025, from the embodiment lens, is going to really be inviting this of us. And it's important to begin to understand what this really means cognitively and how this works within the experiential of our physical and energetic being, so that we can move, right, through ease and grace, so that we can continue to absorb, assimilate, and then amplify that light out into the world, so that we can absorb and assimilate, which also pushes out the gunk, right? Pushes out the shadow, pushes out what no longer serves us, so that we can hold more light. And what does that mean for our organs, for our tissues, for our nervous system, for the energetics of our layers of subtle bodies, which we could start to call our light body? The direction that we're going in 2025 and beyond is really going to be a game changer. And the invitation is, are you ready? Are you ready to play the game? Are you ready to be in the game? And for me, the game is all about accessing and cultivating more divine love, more light, more joy, more bliss, more freedom, more connection, and more not only connection to others, connection to life. I'll tell you, I just I had a lovely brunch just a little bit ago, which I had some coffee, so I don't always drink coffee, so I'm a little bit more energized. And my friend was talking about how like all of these things are just like happening, right? And they're kind of weird, and she doesn't really like know what to do with them, and that she's having these moments of like being a flower, right? And knowing the flower, and the flower not being separate from her. And the same with plants. Like she's just automatically communing with plants. Yes, this is part of where we're going, right? And this is an expression of us coming into unification, divine union with all of life, where we get to know life more intimately in its particle expressions, right? Those that have where the energy, the wave is coming into particles, but it's still truly a wave, but it comes into a tangible expression or life form. But then when the divine, right, and when our soul kind of expands a little bit more, we come into these places of communion that doesn't know space or time, that doesn't differentiate, right? It comes into just these beautiful, the life-giving presence. And life-giving is really that which fulfills, uplifts, and it is soulfully connecting. So I wanted just to share that, because this is giving us glimpses, and you may be having these glimpses of what's coming our way and what we're moving into, and how the human design is altering. And that's evolution, right? So I'm going to see if there's any other notes that I want to just pinpoint that we're going to talk a little bit about. So we're going to talk about the physicality and the energetics of being this temple space, right? This technology that is divine, that is made to do this evolutionary jump. We're going to talk about multidimensionality, and we're going to talk about that living field that we are all moving in, right? And that living field I call ultimately a field of love. And it is a tapestry of love that we're swimming in, the living waters of love that we are swimming in, divine love. And how do we become more connected to that? How do we trust that? How do we allow that to be immersed within us, and how do we become immersed in it? And part of that is coming all the way into this, beautiful vessel and vehicle that carries our soul, and allowing our soul presence to continue to enter in and fill and expand through us. All right. There's going to be more. I haven't put it all together. I usually do this as we get closer and see what other things want to show up. But I hope that you join us. So this is going to be, again, Wednesday. It's the Summer Solstice celebration. Central Time, 5:30 to 6:45, 7-ish. Sometimes they can go on. We're going to do some, you're going to get some information, and then we're going to put that information into experience. And then there's also the light language activation, and you'll probably get a body prayer, so that as you move closer to solstice and even after solstice, you can use that body prayer to continue to merge and unify with that divine expression, which is the sun rays coming to us, opening our hearts, empowering us, uplifting us, and creating more light in our body. So the link will be down below. You can go to my website, lotuslindley.net. There will be a blog there. It's featured Summer Solstice Celebration. You can register there. It will be on Zoom. I will send the links out to you Tuesday. And if I don't know you, then please, if you haven't done anything with me before, if you feel called, please just send me an extra little note on my contact in my website, just so that I can say hi to you and welcome you. All right. So keep absorbing the sun. Know that you are receiving the codes now, and we're going to anchor them and activate them and make them more conscious on Wednesday. All right. Much love and many blessings.